Hello, everyone. This is your host, Irsa Khalid, and I welcome you all to another exciting and interesting episode of Conversation with the Diplomat by Diplomat. My dear fellows, public diplomacy today stands at the heart of how nations understand, influence, and connect with one another beyond formal negotiations. As Edward R. Murrow once said, to be persuasive, we must be believable. To be believable, we must be credible. To be credible, we must be truthful. This idea captures the essence of public diplomacy, building trust through authenticity and sustained engagement rather than mere representation. This program seeks to explore the human side of diplomacy, the journey behind the titles, the values behind the decisions, and the lived experiences that shape those who represent their countries abroad. Beyond protocols and postings, diplomacy is also about resilience, identity, adaptation, and service. With this, I'm honored to introduce our today's guest, Her Excellency Ms. Saima Sayed, Ambassador of Pakistan to Senegal.
Assalamu alaikum, Irsa, and thank you very much for having me on your program.
Viewers, let me tell you more about our esteemed guest. Ms. Saima Sayed joined the Foreign Service of Pakistan in 2004. In her early career at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Islamabad, she served as Assistant Director, Deputy Director, followed by Deputy Chief of Protocol, and later as Director. In her diplomatic career abroad, she has represented Pakistan in several key missions, including Paris, New Delhi, and the United Nations in New York. Ms. Saima, welcome to Diplo TV. My first question to you is, thank you. My first question to you is, can you share a little bit about your personal journey and what drives you?
My personal journey in diplomacy.
From the beginning, just tell us about yourself.
Well, my journey as a student, it is at a time when there weren't many options available to women. The most popular career choices were medicine or going in the teaching profession. So in about 25 years ago, I also followed the same trends and very happily sat for the FSC pre-medical exam. Didn't get enough marks to make the merit. So then very unhappily, because I didn't know what else to do. So then I did my bachelor's and went to Quaid-e-Azam University for Masters in Public Administration. And this also went on just as I went with the flow. I had nothing concrete in my mind at that moment because once the pre-medical, the medical career did not happen, I sort of felt a bit lost. So I just went with the flow. And then in my master's, there was this professor from the police service, a retired police officer who used to come on the visiting faculty. So he was the one who said to me that once you finish your master's, don't go for any job. I'll guide you and help you to take the CSS exam. So that was also a new proposition because in my family, it's mostly people from the army and no one before me was in the civil services. So that was also unknown territory for us. But anyways, I accepted. And since after I did not look for any job after my master's, so he guided me with books, notes, and I sat for the CSS exam. So that is how I sort of got into this career path with the guidance of my teacher. And he's the one who actually helped me make the choices, because we have, when we fill in the form, we have to give the choices of the 10 superior services. So I didn't know what to write. So he said, just write foreign service out of the top. Even my parents didn't know what it would entail because I come from a middle class family. We are 3 sisters, a protected environment. So the thought of this, the career this I am in now entails traveling and staying in foreign countries. So that was for the completely different environment in which I have been brought up. So just I followed my teacher blindly and I trusted him. So I wrote foreign service as my first choice. And as it was in the stars, so I got my first choice. I stood fourth in the country. So I got foreign service as my first choice. And voila, here I am, 20 years ahead.
So, yeah, it was a very interesting journey, basically. So do you think that, yes, you are made for this life, or this life has chosen you, or you have chosen this life. What are your thoughts on it?
I think this life has chosen me. I had no idea, frankly, no grand schemes in my head as a student. So I think this life chose me, and I grew and I improved with this job, and I think I have gained a lot. 20 years ago, before joining this service, I was a much different person, and I could not have imagined that I would be traveling to these far off places and living the life that I am living now.
So tell me about this part of being a diplomat, where you get to travel to different places, you get to meet to different people from all over the world and experience new culture, new food, new traditions, basically a whole new world, I would say. So what tell us about this?
So the way you asked this question with this stars in your eyes, what does it? What happens, and when you are abroad? So this is the sort of aura that encompasses us. But in reality, I would like to say that it has its highs and its lows as well. The highest, of course, when you are representing your country abroad. I mean, I have served at the Pakistan mission at the UN in New York, and many times there were opportunities when I, as a mid-career officer, I had to make a statement in my relevant committee over there on behalf of Pakistan. And whenever the person used to announce that now the representative of Pakistan, you have the floor. Literally, it used to give me goosebumps. Even today, that feeling that all in this room full of representatives from all over the world, it's me. It's only me who is sitting behind the Pakistan desk and speaking for Pakistan. So this is a big high for us when we are representing Pakistan abroad at international fora, whether it is multilateral or it is the bilateral embassies like this. But there is a cost to it because we travel, we leave behind family, and sometimes it's not easy to adjust to the new places because we have missions. Not just in the fancy capitals, in the beautiful, well-known capitals, but in other parts of the world.
Right.
So from Asia to Europe, Central Asia, Africa, America, South Americas. So we have missions, and we have to be mindful that we can be posted anywhere. Of course, there is a support system that helps us whenever we land in a new country. It's the embassy who takes care of us, takes us to our residence, and takes care of the initial things that one requires when reaching a new country. So that's a challenge. I mean, I wouldn't say it very negatively because once we join the service, we have to get used to it. This is part of the job, but it is difficult sometimes when you reach a country where you don't know the language, where you find the halal meat, where you find the shan masalas, and how do you work, and how do you communicate. But really, I no regrets up till now. So it's a mixed bag, and when one does it with passion and positivity, it's really a big high.
Okay. So do you miss anything about your home country, Pakistan?
Oh, of course, of course. Is seeing recently with the Islamabad talks happening in
Exactly.
Islamabad or trending on Instagram and Facebook and social media, one felt really, really nostalgic when
Exactly.
seeing the Margalas and the beautiful roads of Islamabad. So, of course, one always has our country in the back of our minds, but we know we are here for a purpose.
Okay. So I was reading about you and your interests basically, and I found that you do painting, you love to listen to music. So tell us about something.
Painting, I used to paint a lot, especially when I was in school. I was in representation convent Rawalpindi, and we used to have a teacher from Nigeria, Miss D'Souza. So she used to make art work very, very interesting for us in school, and she sent our paintings to international competitions. And there was a competition in Japan where I won a silver medal. I was, I think, in class sixth or seventh, when I won a silver medal, and the prize arrived after some time from Japan. So that also motivated me. But I had an interest in art. And then when I did my matriculation and then it was time to choose the subjects in college, my first thought was I should take fine arts. But as I said, in those days, it was either medicine or teaching. And when I said I wanted to take up fine arts, and of course there was the National College of Arts in Lahore, which was in my mind. But my family discouraged me that this is something of a side hobby and you can keep at it whenever you want to, but don't make it into a career. And so sort of that sort of went on the background. But I do have an interest, and whenever I have time. Right now, it's been quite some time since I've touched the paints, but I like to keep my supplies. I have my pens, coloring pencils, sketching board. So I keep on looking at it and thinking there will be a time when I will touch that again. And
So,
music, of course. Music, I like, of course, listening to music, and over here discovering the African tunes and rhythms. And so it's a great experience over here. So of course, music is very, very important in my life.
okay. So, as we are talking about music, I also find African music very, interesting, especially the tunes. So, what about Pakistani music? Do you think that it's unique, or maybe for us it is unique because it is in our mother tongue? What are your thoughts about it?
Music, of course, every country has its own particular rhythm, own particular beat, and of course, the language is different. So we use a variety of instruments for like the drums, the tabla, and we also have our classical instruments. In Africa, it's more of a hip hop, and they have more of the beat of the drums with it. So yes, of course, every country, that what makes every country's music and culture unique. And of course, then when there is the fusion, but the specific peculiarities of everyone's culture and music still retains its character.
So let's talk about work-life balance. I don't know whether it exists or not in your life, but what message would you like to give to especially women who are juggling between their work life and their personal life, at home with kids and all?
Well, firstly, I softly object to just leaving this concept for the women. This is not just for women, men and women both in the work environment or need to look after their mental health, to be able to do their duties better and to be able to assume their responsibilities better. So I think it's not just a gender issue. By the nature of responsibilities, one may assume that since a woman has to look after house and her children as well. But I think it's a concept which is not divided by gender. And of course, in today's world, when we are connected with so many screens, there is a bombardment of information going on in our environment. It is very important to be able to take time off, to step back, to be able to unwind, and to keep the work and the home environment separate.
What principles have guided you throughout your life? Like, what are your, basic principles in order to live life in the
Well, yeah, but this is something of a process and evolution. What I used to think when I was in my 30s was completely different now that I am in my 40s. So it comes with it evolves with I think age and experience.
right.
There were many things which did not have an explanation or an answer when I was in my 20s or 30s. But now when I step back and I say, okay, so that was the reason, and that is how I should have done it, and now this is how I shall tackle this. So I think it's not one principle, but over the time I have evolved, and what is now that is my guiding principle is that one needs to have positivity and passion to do something.
Right. Uh, can you please explain or get into more about positivity and passion just to clear to our audience, like how they should adopt it in their life?
First, it is something, all these things are usually based on the personal thought process and experience. One has to be able to want to do something. So for me, the passion is to be able to want to do something. Not that I have to do. Of course, there are things that one has to do in life, but to do those things, one should have a wanting or a longing to do those things. Only then one can survive and one can do them in a sustainable manner. And then positivity is not that one is all, because we are humans, we have emotions, we go up and we go down on a cycle. So it's not that one is taking a drug sort of a thing that one remains high 24/7. That is not possible. But the thing is that when something happens that pulls you down, when something happens that discourages you or demotivates you, you have the ability to roll back. That is the resilience that you require. So the positivity helps you look at the situation and be able to make the best out of it. So for me, it's not just to be high 24/7. That I are not possible for me as well. But the thing is how to take a step back and look into the situation and find the positive and see that how I can manage that. So that for me is positivity.
Absolutely. As you're serving in Senegal, uh, can you please tell us any unique national character or cultural thing or anything which has surprised you the most and you want to share it with us, our audience?
It's my first experience in Africa, and this I'm here as ambassador in West African country, Senegal. So
Mm.
Senegal is one of the most important countries of Senegal. It plays a very leading role in ECOWAS and African Union, and it's a francophone country. And the thing that really caught my attention, one was that they are very much into sports. There is this road called the Corniche that runs along the seaside. You know, we are on the West African coast, so it's a coastal city. And whether it's morning or whether it's in the evening, you see young people, girls and boys, exercising, running, jogging, and doing whatever, but playing football. But because for us, I think, unfortunately, we don't have that many public spaces. Also, there's not much of a culture of spending the evenings outside or playing sports. But over here, it was a very, very pleasant sight to see that how they are so much interested in sports, and
Physically.
of course, the weather also is tropical. So in the evenings and in the mornings. So since I am also here, so I have tried to emulate the lifestyle over here also. So sometimes I also go out in the morning, or if I have time in the evening, on the Corniche Road and join these people in exercises and jogging. And so this is something very, very interesting, and it caught my eye.
Okay. So I want to ask you that for which Pakistani dish, cuisine, food you miss the most or like the most?
Pakistani dish, as a diplomat, I had to travel a lot. And as a junior officer, I had to look after my own apartment, had to do my own cooking. So I appreciate if I get a cooked meal, whether it is a simple vegetable or an elaborate meal. But if I get a cooked meal at this stage, that is what I appreciate. So it's not something
Very, yeah,
specific.
very basic and the most interesting favorite
Exactly.
dish. Yeah, it,
Exactly.
it should be this
It can be
basic.
anything, but if someone cooks it for me,
And
I will
that's your
appreciate.
favorite. Cooked
Yes,
meat.
yes,
Okay,
cooked by
that's it.
someone else.
Yeah, exactly, someone else. Now moving on to the next question. As a diplomat, what are the top qualities a diplomat must have as representing, your country abroad?
Being a diplomat, it's a mixed bag. And when we join the foreign office, we come from different backgrounds, different educational backgrounds, different work experiences, different families, different parts of Pakistan. So everyone brings their own competence to the table. So there are a couple of things that are expected of us as diplomats working in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs or abroad in the embassies. We have to be able to write reports, and we have to be able to meet with people and engage with people, because I think any on a scale, people who write the most beautiful prose in their reports and the telegrams, they are considered very, very competent. But I think one of the most underrated skills that we have, that I think is very, very underrated in our ministry, the ability to engage with people, the ability to connect with people, because our job as diplomats is basically to connect with the local population, to find something that is similar, that attracts their attention and connects them to our country. Because over here, as I am in Senegal, my basic aim, that is why I'm also a Francophone. I learned French language as my foreign language when I joined the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So I try to improve my French language so that I can better communicate with the local population, and they know Pakistan a bit because they don't have their embassy in Islamabad. But it is my duty, I think, to connect with them, to tell them about Pakistan. So this is one of the biggest skills, I think, to be able to engage with people. And now with the advent of social media, this toolkit of our skills needs to be revamped. We need to understand that in order to reach wider audiences, we also need to have an understanding of how to use the media tools to increase our engagement. So for me, it's a mixed bag, and one should see that every person who whatever they have their competence, they should enhance that competency.
Right. Ms. Saima, what advice would you like to give to young people who wants to join foreign service beyond academics, right? Some real practical advice as you are in the service and have numerous years of experience. So tell us about it.
Well, when we joined the foreign service, this is one sentence that I was told, and we have passed it on to the new generation, generation after generation. And this is something that truly reflects what we do, and it has stuck in my mind since. So I was told that foreign service is not just a career, it's a lifestyle. So people who join the foreign service, they have to be very open-minded. And they have to realize that it's not just going to be them, it's going to be a career, a lifestyle for their family, for their spouses, for their children as well. Because every 3 years they move to a new capital, the children go to new schools with new languages, the spouse has to settle into a new environment. So it is not just that officer, him or her, who is going to take up this job. So my advice is that one has to join this office with a very open mind. People say that I love to travel, so I would love to join the foreign office. It's not just a touristic nature of the job. One has to be able to be open to new challenges, to new places, and to be able to settle in new places as well, and then to engage with an open mind. So this is the basic crux. One needs to question him or herself before joining the foreign service. Because after one takes the exam after 14 or 16 years of education, everyone can write reports, everyone can read the newspaper, everyone can do the office work. That the thing is that involves is the lifestyle change, and that is something that is that one needs to understand before joining the service.